What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to put this head-to-head against its older brother and sisters. But before we get into it, guys, if you wouldn't mind, please clicking that subscribe button below. It's really going to help the channel out so we can reach a much broader audience. Also, click that bell for notifications on when new content drops. Give this video a thumbs up at the end of this if you enjoyed this video, and share this with your running friends if they are interested in purchasing any of these shoes that I will put in this video for you. Right, so let's dive into it. Right here we've got the Nike Winflo 9, the 9th iteration of this shoe. And I'll be honest with you guys, leave your comment in the section below. Did you guys think that this would go to the 9th iteration? I'm really not too sure if it was ever going to make it this far or not, but it has. Here it is. And yeah, we'll get into it. So the thing is, with this shoe, it's kind of a surprise to me. So it's a shoe that, you know, and I won't go into all the specs and details on it. I'll put links in the description for the other videos, and I think the other two shoes I've already compared against each other, but this one is kind of in that family of Nike daily trainers. And this is kind of one that surprised me the most out of all of these shoes. So we're going to put it head to head right now against its other older brother, the Nike Pegasus. Nike Pegasus 39. So we could go through stats and features, we can go through how they feel, all that kind of stuff, and really I'm just going to get into what they feel like underneath my feet when I'm running. So I'm not going to lie, this one actually shocks me. Now just feeling them in hand, definitely the Nike Pegasus feels a little bit lighter in hand. Not much, maybe, you know, half an ounce, something like that. It's really not a huge difference, but can definitely feel that the Winflo is just a little bit heavier. That being said, I can definitely say that like the way that these feel underfoot are so similar to each other. The way the upper locks down, the way that the heel cup feels with each other, even the toe box kind of breathability between the shoes is so very similar to each other. The real difference is really when it comes to the tongue in the midfoot area. The Pegasus does have a gusseted tongue where the Winflo does not. And I'll be honest with you, I actually prefer the Pegasus just a little bit more when it comes to its upper. Now the heel flare area, I got these so that you can put them side by side, but if you look at the heel flare areas, they're almost exactly identical to each other. Can't even really tell the difference, even underfoot. Even the way the heel counters are, they're both very stout. They're both almost identical to each other. So the lockdown of the shoes are very, very similar to each other. Just, there's no heel lift. There's just a nice comfort in both of these heel areas. But what it really comes down to is really the over the foot, over the midfoot area lockdown. I prefer the Nike Pegasus over the Winflo. So now let's move on to the midsoles. So you got Nike React foam with 2 air zoom units, one in the forefoot, one in the heel. In the Nike Pegasus, tried and true, seems to work very well. And then in here you've got Cushlon Plus, which is an older foam. It was once used in the Pegasus. I believe the Pegasus 34, 35, 36 all used Cushlon foam, but this one has an updated Cushlon foam called Cushlon Plus, and it has a full-length air unit. It doesn't say air zoom, but it's a full-length air unit in the shoe. So you just have one continuous airbag underneath your foot, your feet. Now, I will say that when it comes to cushioning on this shoe, if you want something that's a bit softer, I definitely go with the Winflo 9. It's definitely got a little bit more cushion to it. It's definitely got a little bit more compression to it. It's just kind of, I don't know, it feels like a much softer shoe. Even when you're just touching the midsole foams, you can definitely feel that this Cushlon Plus that they're using is really, really soft, but it is kind of bouncy. It does have some pretty decent energy return. Now, the Nike Pegasus 39 uses React foam, and it is a softer version of React foam than what was in the previous versions. I will give them that. but this shoe definitely feels like it's a little bit snappier. It definitely feels like it's definitely got a little more pickup to it than what you get in the Winflo. So if you're using it as a daily trainer, as a shoe that you're going to do some faster efforts in, as something that you can kind of do some regular daily miles, but also pick up the pace in it a little bit, the Pegasus is going to be your best bet. I really feel like that air zoom unit, having that isolated in the forefoot, and then of course one in the heel as well, but I really feel like having that air zoom unit isolated in the forefoot rather than having it full length allows that air to just kind of be compressed and not feel like it's transitioning from front to back. It just kind of, allows you to just kind of bounce and move forward. So it's really an enjoyable, fun ride to get in this shoe when you start picking up the pace in it. Where the Winflo is still very good. This one kind of surprised me with how much energy return was actually in this shoe. It felt super soft, and I thought this was going to be a little bit too soft to pick up the pace. It actually did a really good job. So to be versatility-wise, I'd still probably lean with the Pegasus. I think the React foam, which I know for a fact, because I've proven it over time, the React foam is definitely going to be more resilient over time. So you're going to get more longevity, I think, out of this shoe than you are out of the Winflo. That being said, I also feel like the Pegasus on longer run efforts is going to provide a little bit more comfort. Not much, but it's going to be just a little bit more than what you get out of the Winflo. Like I said, I think in my initial impression, I said that this shoe, between 4 to 7 miles is about where it is really comfortable. And this shoe, I think you can get pretty much anywhere from like 5, 6 to 10 miles, anywhere from like 6 to 10 miles out of the Pegasus before it starts to get uncomfortable. So a little bit longer, a little bit more resilient, probably a little bit better for those long runs than what you get in the Winflo. So, and then outsole, it's going to be a tie because they're pretty much identical to each other. I would kind of give it maybe a little bit to the Winflo, actually, looking at it. I'd probably give it to the Winflo. I think the Pegasus is a little bit more flexible, but I'm going to give the outsole actually to the Winflo because it looks like the lugs are just a little bit better in the Winflo here. So, if I had to pick between these two shoes, price point, $100 for the Winflo, $130 for the Pegasus. You can get these shoes on sale, but if I'm going to pick one over the other, I'm actually going to have to go with the Pegasus $39 over the Winflo $9. But this is still a very good shoe. Now, comparing this to this, the Nike Vomero 16. Now, this is the premium version of a daily trainer from Nike. It's supposed to be kind of like their max cushion, but that would be the Invincible, so it's kind of a more max cushioned type shoe than what the Pegasus is, and this one is really fancy. So we're going up against some older technology here with Cushlon Plus, where this one has Zoom X with SRO2 in it. So you're already looking at a little bit of a disadvantage to the Winflo, but we're going to do it anyways in the instance of giving you a good review. So right here, there are some similarities between these two shoes, actually. So the material that they're using here in the Vomero is definitely more premium. Definitely has a more premium feel even when you step your foot into the shoe. The toe box, I think, has a little bit more breathability in the Vomero than what you get in the Winflo. But something that was actually pretty intriguing here is they are both using a similar type of lace loop system. So I actually prefer the lockdown in the Winflo over the Vomero because the Vomero has a super padded tongue, which is nice and plush and pillowy, but on a daily trainer I don't really feel like I would need something like that, to be completely honest. So I gotta kind of give the lockdown feel to the Winflo here. Also, the heel cup area, even though this has a really nice padded plush heel cup and some external support structure here, I'm still actually going to give this to the Winflo. So even though the toe box breathability I think is better, I'm going to actually give the upper win to the Winflo. I know that might be shocking. More premium shoe loses out to the cheaper cousin, but the Winflo, I think, gets the win for the upper. It's a better lockdown. It feels a little bit more comfortable. a little bit more daily trainer kind of feel, and I love the heel flare back here. I think this is just fantastic. Something I wish the Winflo had. Now, going on to the midsole. Okay, you shouldn't be surprised when I say this. The winner is the Winflo. Not the Winflo. It's the Vomero. The Vomero 16 wins this one. That Zoom X is fantastic. The air zoom unit that you can definitely feel in the forefoot has a lot of bounce, a lot of energy return. It's just overall, it's just a super comfortable shoe. It's a surprisingly stable shoe. I definitely have to give it to the Vomero 16 for the midsole. And going on to the outsole here. So outsole, I'd almost have to say the same thing. So they're almost a tie on the outsole. The Vomero has a very similar kind of waffle pattern, but it's full rubber coverage because it's got that delicate Zoom X in there. So they put the rubber on there to kind of cover up the Zoom X so it doesn't get damaged. Also helps provide a little extra stability to the shoe. So I kind of give them a tie with a slight edge to the Winflo on this one. So price point $160, I think, for the Vomero 16, which again you can get on sale. All these shoes you can get on sale, so I'm just going to use a regular price. But the Vomero 16 is $150 or $160 for this shoe, where the Winflo is $100 for the shoe. I'm going to have to give the win to the Winflo on this round against the Vomero 16. This is an absolute fantastic shoe. I love running in the Vomero 16, but when you're considering everything else, the comfort of the upper, the outsole, and the price point, you can't beat what the Winflo gives you. So out of these three shoes, if I had to pick up one shoe to run in again, I'm actually going to say I'd pick the Winflo out of all these shoes. The Pegasus, the Vomero, and the Winflo, I would actually pick the Winflo over the other two shoes. Part of it is the price point. I'll be honest, with running in this, the initial impressions runs between all of the three of these shoes. This one is the one that kind of astounded me the most. It really stuck out to me. It really kind of said, wow, this is really what a good classic daily trainer kind of feels like. No fancy, stuff. But so does the Pegasus. The Pegasus gives me that as well. I just, for whatever reason, it kind of, if I had to go to a store and see those three shoes on the shelf at their MSRP price, I'm actually going to go with the Vomero because it just feels like a good quality shoe for a good price. So definitely, to me, the Winflo 9 is the way to go in this video. Guys, thank you again for watching. Please hit that subscribe button below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Share it with your friends. Never pay full price for running shoes. And enjoy the run.